Does anyone have a question? We live in a very complicated world, and the answer to all of this insanity that goes on is really in the human heart. It's the ability to build a system inside that is strong enough to be able to truly listen to life and learn from life, and to learn to love ourselves and our self-worth and who we are as human beings, and extend that love through compassion, through kindness to other human beings. I mean, we're born, I keep saying it over and over again, but it's so true. We're born here to learn that God is love. It's the reason we come to the earth, and we go through this quagmire of emotions and, tension, and ultimately to come out on the other side, if one does come out on the other side, to learn that God is love. It's very simple and not easy to do. And the only person we're up against is ourselves, really. We can judge and blame and find fault with other human beings. That's not difficult to do. But the one person who keeps us from coming out on the other side and truly embracing the fact that God is love is ourselves. We have to master our inner chaos. We have to master, get a quiet mind, open heart, get grounded inside. I mean, these are not inhuman things. These are very basic elements of life. Even to survive in a material world, we have to have those elements. To deal with all the nonsense that goes on, we have to be balanced inside. Can't know better than anybody else. That instantly creates an argument. To listen to people, let people teach us. They can teach us what we need to do to grow, and they can teach us what we don't have to do to grow. But they always have something to teach us. All we have to do is listen. Does anyone have a question?
Stuart, I have a question.
Yes, one.
How best to listen to other people to show us where we need to work?
I'll tell you how best. Anyone who comes into your life is a reflection of your inner state. You attract them to yourself. And they come into your life. Yeah, it comes in with money and business and this, but they really come into your life to show you what you have to work against and work for within yourself. So if you begin to see people that way, it changes the whole way you look at life. They're no longer an enemy. They're no longer somebody you have to lecture about the right way to live and the right way to do. And, they're just there to teach you about yourself. They're also there to teach us that lecturing does no good anyway. So why even do it? Nobody really listens. People have to ultimately arrive at a place where they learn this for themselves. So I think when we look out at the world, what we see is a mirror image of ourselves. And there's some pretty nasty things inside every single one of us. Those nasty things create war, famine, create people that are difficult for us to deal with. And as we change inside and get bigger inside, more open inside, we can deal with more kinds of energy and more types of people without allowing them to truly, take all our energy away. I think that's what we have to do, is just simply recognizing life is the teacher. Life is a much better teacher than Stuart. And I say that with all humility. I mean, I can teach people how to develop chakra systems, how to get strong inside. What I'm here to teach people how to do is to build a system inside so they can eventually embrace the greatest guru, and that's life itself. And life brings things you like and things you don't like, and things that are impossible and things that are wonderful. Our job is to learn from it. And in order to learn from it, a person has to get strong enough inside to be able to embrace whatever life brings. And by embrace, I mean learn from it. Learn how to grow inside yourself. Learn what it's teaching. Recognizing that life that we all see is a mirror image of each and every one of us. And there are two people sitting here that see the same reality. Each person sees their own unique reality. And that reality is there to teach them what they have to do to grow. Now, I don't mean let other people run over us and, you know, I'm talking about getting strong. I mean, I've told you this story a lot, but it's really a good one. I mean, I used to know a guy who was like a 10th degree black belt, one of these really high up there in the martial arts. And I was walking on the streets with him one day, and I said to him, I said, the greatest martial artists will never get into a fight. And he said to me, yes, the chi is so strong, the power in them is so strong that it really tranquilizes any argument that's coming their way. They will win the war before the war even begins because of the power of the chi inside them. And I was very touched by that. It was something I had thought about and thought was very true. And then this person confirmed it, that it's really true. We're the same way with life. If we get big enough, doesn't matter what goes on in the world, we have the strength to be able to use it to get closer to God. I mean, look at look, I'm not a religious person, but look at the image of Christ being crucified. I mean, could there anything be more horrible than having nails knocked into your hands and all he could say is, forgive them, they know not what they do. Most extraordinary thing I ever read. That's how. It's not dependent on fixing the external world because it's going to always be crazy. It's an illusion. It's all a mirage. It's a dream we live in. We fix ourselves to be able to, first of all, enjoy the dream, enjoy life. And secondly, to use whatever it's teaching us to develop a spiritual life, a closeness with God, with higher energy. And in order to do that, the first thing that has to be developed is our humanity, compassion, love. Does anyone have a question? Anyone else have a question you would like to ask?
Stuart, I have another question.
Fire
So
away.
how do you enjoy the tension that you're experiencing?
You know, you're just big enough in yourself, Bob, where somebody else's tension doesn't bother you. You can build that in yourself. I mean, every single person sitting in this class has tension. And in order for me to teach this class, I have to get big enough inside myself to be able to transform that tension as into something that's a life-giving force. First people you start with are your family. I mean, my God, the people is the closest to you. And look, any human being, I mean, it doesn't matter who comes into your life, is going to bring their baggage. Everyone has baggage. So instead of getting depressed because I don't grow, get stronger, open to where somebody else's baggage doesn't bother you. I mean, that's an incredible way to live. And this meditation is about that. This is what Rudy taught. It's about that. Human beings have a spiritual life. And humanity is capable of embracing positive, negative, good, bad, right, wrong. There is no more duality. It's all a teacher. And if you can't do that now, it's certainly something worth working for. I mean that. Changes your life, for God's sake. You can love people even if you don't like them. My famous t-shirt. Does anyone else have a question? Not a matter of loving and liking, it's a matter of nurturing and transcending. Nurturing oneself, nurturing people in your life. Does anyone have a
Stuart,
question?
I have a question. Can you talk about going through transitions?
Yeah, it's like almost every class I talk. Look, whether you like it or not, you are going through transitions. I mean, look, nobody looks the way they did when they were 5 years old. We're all changing. Josh, please sit still. We're all changing constantly. We're going through transitions. And then the mind gets involved, which tries to hold on to everything that was. Everything that was no longer is, but something has come to replace it. The people in your life are constantly going through change and transition. And one's job is the same thing I told Bob. It's just to get strong enough to be able to, make these transitions, make these changes. It's a kind of death and rebirth. It's letting go of the past, embracing not even the future, but embracing the present. The future hasn't come yet. It'll come someday, but right, and then one day it'll be the present. All we have is the now. We have the present. And we have to learn to live in it quietly, consciously, with love, with security, with deep inner strength to be able to live in the moment. And then we relish transition, we relish change, because change and transition give us the opportunity to experience new levels of growth, new levels of life, which are essential. And I think this is something that people have to really learn how to do. It's very hard for people to do that. Everybody's clinging to what was. What was no longer is. What is all we got. So the only thing a human being has is this moment. The past is like a shadow. The future hasn't come yet. But this moment, we are completely alive and almost never present. Because we're always thinking about the past, the future, this, worried about what life is going to be in 10 years, instead of living what is, embracing with gratitude, with joy, the sacredness of the life that we are given in this moment. And then we welcome transition, we welcome change. Keeps us from getting stale. Now, these things are not easy to do. It takes time and a lot of work on oneself to build a system that enables you to do what I'm talking about. And I'll tell you frankly, without Rudy and without what I learned from Rudy and what he taught me, I could never even be talking about this. This would be so foreign to me. But just simply transforming all the internal chaos into an open heart, into quiet, to foundation. I mean, that enables us to truly begin to live in the moment. We're no longer intimidated by the future. And we no longer cling to the past. We just have what is. And that's the miracle of life. What is? I mean, they've written all these books, Be Here Now, The Power of Now, you know? I mean, that's what those books are about. But in order to live in the now, we have to be able to build an inner life that is strong enough to do it. And then transition is not a problem. You relish it, you want it. It brings freshness, it brings newness, it brings a whole different level of living. And it teaches one how to take chances in life. And not to be afraid of who and what we are in this moment, not have to hide from it, but embrace it. This is who you are. This is who I am. Does anyone else have a question? And just to finish this, look, what do we all want in life? What do people really want? I mean, they want to be happy. They want to love and be loved. They want to feel that kind of internal security that's not based upon having a white picket fence and money in the bank, but it's based upon their connection with God. And then all these other things come, they all come. There's clarity inside. And when there's clarity inside, you know how to make choices, and choices bring abundance. They bring money, they bring prosperity, they bring nice things to live with in this life. Okay, if there are no more questions, then there will be class tomorrow. And I'm really honestly looking forward to seeing everybody. God bless you all. And I always say it, you're probably tired of hearing it, but I really have this a deep appreciation for each and every one of you. Your presence here makes me work very deep on myself. I need to do that. And I think it's wonderful that we can share energy on this level and, help each other to grow. What better way to live in the world? So thank you, and God bless you all, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Stuart. Good night.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome. Good
Thanks.
night.
Good night.